Hurt Like This is a track that I even messaged you about it too. I'm not one typically who my emotions are quite audible. Like unless I'm at a sporting event and I'm
Yeah, I was
cheering.
going to say, I've heard you yell at a referee quite loudly.
But like, that sort of, I'm normally just like, I think it, but I never audible. But I was driving in the car listening to Hurt Like This. And the lyric of everyone says he's a great guy, but I'm afraid in bed at night. I was like, fuck. Like audibly, like that lyric really, like the whole track is really hits hard. But that lyric, I was just like, fuck. Like
Thank you.
so good. And I think I said it was beautiful in the most heartbreaking way.
Yes.
That track as well.
Yeah.
You obviously don't need to go into any specifics. It's quite obvious by the lyrics in that track, but we talked about you wanting to get more personal in your songwriting.
Yes.
That track lays a lot out there.
It does.
What was that experience like for you?
Yeah. I actually made a post about this just before I came. So it's on my mind. So perfect. But yeah, this song actually started in 2023, and it's the song that's kind of existed the longest out of the EP songs. But it was not when this stuff happened, but me kind of just starting to process it properly, like having the space to process it. And I just started writing this song as us songwriters do when we're trying to process our emotions and things that happen. We start writing songs. So yeah, I started writing it, and it was obviously very rough. But the first line has stayed the same throughout, and everything else pretty much changed. But that first line's still the same, because that's exactly what I was processing at the time that I wrote it or started writing it. But yeah, I'd never thought it would be something I would release. Like, I think I posted a snippet of it when I wrote it, but it was a chorus that was completely different to what it is now, and it was more like, I see this happening to like everyone, all these women, and why does it have to happen, etc. So a bit of a different story, but similar to what it is now. And I think it was, only really probably 6-ish months ago, I decided that I did want to finish it and did want to write it properly. And I reached out to a friend and amazing songwriter, Alice Fion. She's from Queensland. And she'd written and released a few songs about like similar topics. So I kind of thought that she would relate and, be safe to explore this song with, because obviously I wouldn't just want to go to any songwriter and be like, write this song with me. So yeah, I wanted it to be someone that I knew could relate and could explain it in the words that I wanted to, because it's so hard to also get that sort of stuff in writing besides it being just like, this is what happened. And I wanted it to have a message, and I wanted it to, help other people that had gone through similar things. So reached out to her, and again, it took quite a while, a lot of back and forth to kind of really get into the messaging that we wanted to get into. But I think she suggested the hurt like this part, and with the question mark, it's like, hurt like this, does it have to hurt like this? And I just loved that, because I loved the question mark, because it is, when you're in that, you're so questioning everything, and you think that this stuff is normal, and you get out of it and you're like, why did I think like that? But yeah, the song is very much in the moment and going through all of that. So yeah, went to her, we finished it, and I just loved how it came to be. Still didn't think I was going to release it, because again, it's still just so personal. And again, went back and forth a lot with everyone, all my friends. I was like, I really want to release this. I'm scared, I don't know what to do. And they were just like, if you want to release it, like if this is for you, if this is to help people, then you should release it. You should do it. So I decided to, and booked in the recording date, and then there was no going back, really. And I do that with a lot of my songs. I feel like I book in the recording and decide I'm going to release it, and then I can't really go back on that. So it's kind of me putting myself into gear there. But recorded it. It was very hard to record. And, usually with my recording, you go in, you do lots of different takes, and then you go and you like comp it with the producer. So go through it all and choose which bits sound the best and blah, 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 and listen to it 100 million times. But I got out of the studio. I think we did like 3 takes of it, just full takes. And I just said, that's it. I'm going to go. You do the rest. Because it wasn't a song that I could sit there and, listen to and pick apart. But I was so relieved after I recorded it. And this was only, probably 2 months ago, maybe less, that I recorded it. And I just feel like ever since then, it's been like that last stage of healing that I needed, recording it. And again, it's not released yet, but I have posted it, and I feel like a lot of people have heard most of it. And it just feels really like a relief and a release. And I'm glad that I did make that decision to release it and record it. I talked for ages then, but
That's what we're
the
here to
point of
do.
this- That's
Yeah.
the point of this medium. In the post about this, you mentioned that you wanted it to help other people.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, having obviously not experienced what you experienced, but I imagine for someone going through something similar, listening to that, they hearing it from the first person perspective as you present it, might ping in their mind, okay, this is a same emotion for how I feel. Whereas if you were to present a broader, why does this happen to everyone? It might be a bit more
Yes.
detached and removed. Was that the thought process for you in terms of wanting it to actually have an impact? Because there's a very real chance that someone could hear that song and it could be that sliding doors moment for them that gets them out of a situation.
Yeah, definitely. And when I first wrote it as well, like I was kind of talking to him and the person, and we changed that in the writing process to be, you know, that first person talking about myself and kind of more talking to other people. And I'm so glad we did that because, you know, I feel like it wouldn't have done anything for me to just write a song talking to this person because, you know, the person knows who they are and I'm sure they'll hear the song and they don't care. Well, I don't know. I won't say that. But, you know, so I wanted to write it to people who would care and who would listen to this and feel something. And I know myself, like there's so many songs that I've listened to about this topic and about other topics that just like hit you and you're like, wow, this song was like written for me and it helps you get through something. And I just always want my music to be able to do that same thing for someone else. So yeah, that was kind of the thought process behind it and why we kind of wrote it the way we did, for sure.
And you also said that you said it and it's so true, like you are in the moment in the song. Like you feel like you're, whether, you know, you're talking, you know, listening to you talk to us, the audience, or whether you feel like you're, you know, a fly on the wall, like it just does feel so intimate. It feels like you're there. So much of that really does come through in the production as well. Like you feel really close to the mic. It's very, close and personal, and I do just want to like reach out and give a hug sort of thing because, like, you know, you feel so sorry that someone's gone through that experience. But in you sharing that experience, you might either help other people realize, okay, this isn't how a normal relationship should work, or it might trigger them to go, actually, you know what, maybe I do need to make a change in my life as well. So, yeah, I again just want to commend you for making that decision and being brave enough to put that song out there, because I know over the years that we've spoken, you've talked about, I don't want to write songs, but people know about it. But then, you know, you're dating a musician. What do you expect? Like we've sort of joked about that a little bit, but to actually lay it all out there like this is very commendable.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's lovely.
And you mentioned not wanting to listen back to that very much. Is that still your relationship with that song?
No, I have been listening to it a bit more. I'm actually singing it live for the first time this Friday, so I've had to kind of listen to it to remember how it goes. But no, I think like, after I recorded it, and after I got sent it, it just kind of, obviously it still makes me sad. Like it's obviously not a happy song to listen to, but it just is a different type of emotion now. Like I remember listening to the voice memo and the demo of it and it still was just like really hard to listen to. And I just don't feel like, maybe it's just exposure therapy and I've listened to it enough times, but I just don't feel, that way about it anymore, which is good. And I'm hoping I'll also feel that way when I sing it for the first time and I won't break down.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting experience to,
Yeah.
you know, you're going from not an isolated experience, but a limited exposure experience with only the producers or songwriters or your close friends who you're sharing it with throughout that process, to then be on stage performing it and singing.
Yes. We'll see how that goes.